See what's making international headlines. We're joined once again with Solange Moujon. International papers looking sort of like an echo of the Cold War, Solange, isn't it? The widening rift between the U.S., the West, and Russia.
Yeah, as we saw in the French press review with the French papers, the British media is widely covering Putin this morning. Let's take a look at the Eye. It went with the headline, "The West United to Escalate Hostility." Or with the paper Metro, it had the catchy headline, "Putin the Pariah." Now, there's been glowing praise in many papers about the joint statement between the UK, the US, and the EU that said that the nerve agent attack in Salisbury was a threat to us all. But there are a few people who are calling foul. Among them, opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn. He's actually getting a lot of heat for his stance, even within his own party, all of which pushed him to warn against, quote, McCarthyite intolerance of dissent over Russia. Now, Corbyn, in an opinion piece in The Guardian, came out in support of May's decision to expel 23 Russian diplomats. But he said that Britain should wait for the final results of the criminal investigation before condemning Russia. Now, I'll talk about this more in a minute, but he also said that more needs to be done to go after oligarch cash.
And Russia media, of course, covering this story with their own take, but speaking out about this possible second coming of a Cold War.
Yeah, the Sputnik Times joins in with Corbyn in saying that the UK, quote, rushed to judgment. They say that Theresa May is doing this for political reasons because of her current weak position within her party over the Brexit talks. Now, the New York Times takes a completely different take. In an opinion piece, the paper says that Theresa May is not hitting Putin where it hurts. Like Corbyn, the Times argues that if May really wants to be an effective leader in sanctioning Putin, then the country needs to roll out better financial transparency laws. That in essence, 10 Downing Street needs to go after where the money is coming from and where the money that the Russians have invested in London is coming from, and find out. And if they find that out, then they can really effectively sanction Putin and his inner circle.
All right, and turning now to the U.S. and its ally Canada, where a conversation that Donald Trump had with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is making headlines.
Yeah, the Washington Post broke this story. They got their hands on a recording of Donald Trump talking to donors at a private fundraiser, where the president boasted about a conversation that he'd had with Justin Trudeau. In it, Trump essentially admits that he has no idea what he's talking about. Now, to be specific, in the recording, Trump tells the story of their meeting on trade deficits. On the tape, he says, nice guy, good looking, comes in, says, Donald, we have no trade deficit. To which Trump says that he replied, wrong, Justin, we do. Now, what's interesting comes next. Trump says to his donors, quote, I didn't even know, I had no idea, I just said, you're wrong. Now, naturally, Trump admitting that he's sticking with a position, even if he doesn't know if it's true or not, is creating a lot of hubbub in the press.
This might be what they called alternative facts.
Exactly. Now, the New Republic says that Trump is worse than a liar, that he is a BSer, and that he is someone who is proud about blurring the line between truth and falsehood, and that the episode, quote, reveals the depth of the Trump pathology.
And how's the Canadian press handling the incident?
Well, they're having a field day, of course. But let's take a look let's take a look at more specifically at the Globe and Mail. They say that there's one person who actually stands to benefit from all of this, and that's Justin Trudeau. Now, the Globe and Mail says that this is the perfect opportunity for Canadian trade negotiators to have the upper hand with the Trump administration, and that for the Prime Minister to get back his, quote, golden boy image internationally. Now, what's wrong with his image? Well, it took a beating during Trudeau's official visit to India, where he and his family were widely criticized for wearing kurtas and saris.
You mentioned the golden boy, and we ended with a story about gold falling from the sky. Get out your hard hat, huh?
Yeah. Well, they say money doesn't grow on trees, but sometimes it rains down from the sky. Now, this comes from the Siberian Times. It tells us that in Russia's coldest region, a plane accidentally lost a lot of its precious cargo. More specifically, $368 million worth of
accidental.
Gold. Yeah, accidental. Gold, platinum, and diamonds. Actually, I think it was accidental. The precious metals and rocks were raining down from the belly of the plane as it gained altitude. Police began a wide investigation and search, and they have actually they say they've recovered it all.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if any of the people are wearing nice jewelry afterwards. Thanks, Solange. Solange Moujon with a roundup of the international press. That's it for now. Stay tuned. More headlines coming up.